You are busy piling up, calculating, developing your careers, your money, your occupation, your wealth, until you visit the graves. Think about it. When was the last time that you went to a funeral? Was it your mother? Was it your father? Was it your grandfather? Was it your uncle? Was it your cousin? Was it your friend? Was it your wife? Was it your husband? The last time that you visited the grave. When you went to a funeral and you saw that person whom you loved that was laughing, crying, live, boasting, wealthy, educated, denying, arrogant, whatever they were. What was the demeanor of the people when they walked into the funeral home? When that person was stretched out in their last suit, what was the demeanor? Were the people cracking jokes? Were they dancing? Were they clapping and singing songs? No. Melancholy, silence, trauma. Why? Because every person that walked into that room, seeing that person stretched out, the first thing they thought about was not the person. The first thing they thought about is that one day this will be me. That's what they thought about. That one day this will be me. And so God said, all of us and all of you are engaged in running your mouths, doing your business, multiplying, buying houses, cars, businesses, whatever you're doing. And when you're told about God, religion, life, or morality, you're saying, look, I don't have any time for that. That's what you're saying when people try to tell you about God. You say, oh, I don't have time for that. Yes, a lot of you say, I don't even believe in God. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I'm going to die. And if I do, maybe I'm going to come back. And a lot of you even think, and a lot of you even say, as a matter of fact, science is so sophisticated that I think they're on the verge of being able to solve the whole thing of death soon. So if you die, you don't even have to die. Because science is so... So did you know that there's people out there saying, we don't even have to die? Because science is so sophisticated that if you got enough money, you don't even have to die anymore. So what I'm trying to show you, my brothers and sisters, is how arrogant people are becoming and how arrogant people can be until they visit the funeral homes. And then after you go to the funeral house, if you got the guts, if you are able to do so, you go to the grave. And now this is another scenario. And you say to yourself, is that it? I mean, 50, 60 years? Scraping, struggling, scheming, lying, stealing, fornicating, jumping up and down, begging, working, and is this it? And is this the end? I mean, is this what's going to happen to me? Are they going to be dropping me in a hole in the ground? A hole in the ground. The same hole that a cat digs. So you ask yourself the question, is this what's going to happen to me? Are they going to be putting me in a hole, the same hole that a cat digs after it defecates? Just a little bit deeper. That's the only difference. But the cat has dignity. Because after she digs the hole, she defecates, but then she covers it right back up. Because the cat has instincts of dignity. But human beings have to be taught that. But that's another lesson at a different chapter, in a different talk. You see? So you and I, we're going into a hole a little bit deeper than the cat dug. And all the people that are crying, pulling out their hair, screaming, almost acting like they want to fall in the thing with you. Like they just want to jump in the casket with you And they don't want you to go. Not really though, because it's all an act. Because check it out, ain't nobody really gonna jump in there and stay in there with you. So it's all an act. Because they don't love you that much to stay in there with you. And then after all of the shoveling get done, and they fill it up, and they make the box, and you can't even see the box anymore. The coffin that costs $5,000. Why do they burn somebody in a $5,000 coffin for anyway? Why would somebody burn somebody in a $5,000 coffin? Why would they do that? I mean, if I was the funeral director, after they left, I would dig them back up and take that box back, take that coffin back, and get the money back for it. And to be honest with you, that's what a lot of them do. That's what some of them do. Yeah. So after all of the money and all the drama, and they dig that hole and put that person in that hole, and once they cover that person up, and everybody goes back to their place, to their mama's house, or, you know, they go somewhere so they can try to forget about that person, you know, so they go back to mama's house or daddy's house and cook some chicken and put some music on and start dancing and trying to, you know, just trying to forget about that person that's in that grave. Then, you know, might start drinking a little scotch, a little Bacardi, you know what I'm saying? Then we want the lawyer to come. Now we start talking about divvying up the spoils. So if that woman who died had a husband, someone else is going to marry him, you know that. And that man who died, you know that woman in about 6 months or a year grieving or whatever, in about 6 months or a year grieving, whatever it is, she gonna come to understand that she needs somebody to be with. So she gonna marry somebody. So that means if his suits is still in the closet and the person she marries can fit him, then who you think she gonna give them suits to? So what I'm really trying to break down to you is that after all of that time and the people walk away from that grave, it's over. But what about that person in the grave? What is happening inside that grave? Because that's when the real test of life begins. And that's when the real judgment begins. And that's when either an angel bearing a beautiful smell will come to get your soul and will come to get your spirit. Or that is when an angel bearing a terrible smell will come to get your soul or your spirit. So that is when the true and the real judgment begins. And that's something that we all need to think about, because there's a reason that the Creator designed us so that we go into the grave. Because if God wanted to, He could have just created us so that we just evaporate into thin air. At the time of expiration or at the time of death, if God wanted to, God could have just caused human beings to just evaporate into thin air. But He didn't. Because He caused us to go into another womb. And that womb is called the tomb. The tomb of the earth. Or the womb of Mother Earth, which is the grave. So you go from the womb of your mother to the womb of the earth. From the womb to the tomb. And so that's what I want you to think about. Because at that time is when you will be questioned. Questioned about your actions. Questioned about your deeds. Questioned about, you know, how you spent your time. And you know what? My brothers, my sisters, I want to ask you questions. Do you think that human beings have the ability to take a piece of earth, dig it up, irrigate it, put down seeds, plant corn, whatever the case might be. The corn comes up, they harvest the corn. Then after that happens, they cut it down, dig it up again, and put new seeds in there. And what happens after that? So what happens after that process? They cut it down, dig it up again, put new seeds in there, and what happens? A new harvest sprouts up. What happens in the winter? All the leaves fall off the trees and the earth goes dead. And what happens in the springtime? The water comes and generates the earth again, germinates all over again, and the rain germinates the land and the soil with life. And then you see new grass, you see new trees, and you see new flowers, new fruits. And so God says, and a sign for them is the dead earth, and after that we give it life. And then you eat the fruits from that new harvest, from that whole process of agriculture. So God says, the one who gave you life in the beginning, is he not able to give you life all over again in order to judge you? Yes, he is powerful enough to raise you back up again, just like man is powerful enough to raise up fruits, leaves, flowers, corn, vegetables. And God is even more powerful than man, that he can raise you up after you die in order to judge you. And so, my brothers and sisters, I encourage you to be conscious. I encourage you to be aware of your actions. I encourage you to be aware of your intentions and your behavior. So start to monitor yourself and start to build a healthy relationship with God, so that on the day of judgment, you can go upstairs. You can go to a good place and be with God and be close with God and be in heaven and be in paradise. And on my next lesson and on my next video, I think I'm going to talk a lot about that. But for now, I just want to leave you with this message. Everything that you are doing is basically being recorded by angels, and you will be judged on the day of judgment. So, God bless you. My prayer is that you will continue to strive for righteousness, that you will continue to strive to do good deeds, that you will continue to purify your heart and your mind through prayer, through worship, and through charitable services. And with that, I just want to say peace.
Movie dogs.
Now, before I finish, let me just say, I did not come here to show out. I did not come here to impress you. Because to tell you the truth, when I leave here, I'm gone. And I don't care what you think about me. But just remember, when it hits the fan, brother, whether it's next year, 10 years, 20 years from now, you'll never be able to say that these brothers lied to you, Jack.